Anacondas and pythons are in fact the biggest snakes that live among us. Even though they are not venomous and are not that aggressive, they are very dangerous. These snakes do not tend to attack humans unless you provoke them, and when you provoke them the worst can happen. Because they are gigantic, their attack is much more aggressive. Well, in today's video we are going to show some people who messed with these monstrous snakes and got hurt. Let's go! Attack from under the water. Ever wonder? On a very hot sunny day, you go swimming in a river with friends and out of nowhere you are attacked by a 4-meter anaconda? Terrifying, right? But that's what happened to these two friends who wanted to make their day cooler and much better, and they went swimming, only to their surprise the place where they went swimming was the home of a monstrous anaconda that didn't like it very much. To have people swimming, very unlucky. Well, one of the men stepped on the snake without realizing it, and the snake started to wrap itself around his legs, squeezing and squeezing very hard, and the man started fighting the snake under the water. He was fighting for his life. During the fight the man tries his best to get the snake out of his legs. At the same time he dodges the snake's bites. The friend seemed to be paralyzed with so much fear. But after a while he went there and helped the friend who was being attacked by a gigantic snake, but they weren't successful in getting the snake out of the man's legs because the snake kept squeezing. Lucky the anaconda wasn't around his neck, right? Because this is the snake's war zone where it has more experience, and if it squeezes the neck the man would have zero chances with her. Unfortunately we don't know how this fight ended. We hope the two made it out of it alive. After that, I don't think they'll ever want to swim in that place again. Fatal bite. I think you've seen people parading around with pythons around their necks, people doing presentations and video clips with snakes wrapped around them. It's kind of a fashion, right? I know that deep down you've already wondered if those snakes don't attack them. Well, as we said at the beginning of the video, these snakes don't attack anyone unless you go there and provoke them. But that doesn't mean you should keep catching these snakes, huh? A woman who was performing a dance number in the United States was bitten on the head by the snake that was part of her dance performance. Yeah, the woman was dancing with the snake around her neck, and out of nowhere the snake gave her the bite on her forehead, and it stayed there for a while. The girl was desperate trying to get the snake off her, but after a lot of struggle she manages to get the snake out of her head. And a security guard who was nearby went there and took the snake. Which man? In neither? But at the moment when the snake was biting the woman he did not appear at all. Thank God the snake was not poisonous, but even so, the girl was very scared of what had happened and stopped the presentation. But she's not the only one who tried to impress with a snake hanging from her and failed. This other woman tried to look sexy with a python hanging from her. Look at her, after a while of being sexy with the snake. The snake gets tired and gives a put it in her breast. I think the snake thought, oh my God, lady, you don't need me to be sexy, you're just disturbing me, and now you want to know. I'm going to teach you a lesson, and it did. Well, after this one I think these women will no longer use snakes to impress anyone. The attack on the arm. It is very common for snakes to leave their natural habitat and invade public places, so we have to call the competent authorities to remove them and return them to their natural habitat, right? Yeah, in Brazil an anaconda 6 meters long appeared out of nowhere in a public place, and certainly the residents who were smart people called the military to get the snake out of there. 5 military went. So far everything was fine. When the soldiers arrived they took the snake and carried it to the cage. But when they tried to put it in the cage, then everything went wrong, because the snake slipped and bit the hand of one of the soldiers, sinking its teeth there for a long time. Guys, did you see the size of that snake? Can you imagine how strong her bite is? It must be very strong, because the other soldiers stayed there trying to remove the companion's hand from the snake's mouth for a long time but without success. After a while, they managed to remove the soldier's arm from the mouth of this giant anaconda. Thank God. Right, again, this is not the only anaconda that gives a bite on the arm of someone who was trying to save her. In this other video it seems that the man was a little careless, because when he was carrying the snake he did not hold the head of the serpent, and then she turned and gave a quick bite in his arm, when he realized his arm was already red. But between us, this snake was in a bad mood, because after it bit the man it tried to bite the camera. Hand attack. We often see reality shows on TV where snakes are included in the challenges, and this reality show in the United States was no different. Well, I think the challenge here was just to catch the snake, but nobody imagined that everything could go so wrong. At the beginning of video, the reality participants even argue to see who gets the python first. A woman went ahead and got hurt. To her bad luck, the snake didn't want to be touched, so she immediately bit the woman's hand and started to wrap itself around its arm, which is how snakes catch their prey. First they take a bite, and then they squeeze the prey until they can't breathe and lose their life, and then they swallow. I think that's what this python is all about. Wanted to do it. Well, at first they thought it was the woman's drama, but when they realized it was serious, the men went there and tried to remove the snake, but it wouldn't let go, and the woman just screamed in so much pain. The other reality participants were all stunned with what in it had happened. The video ends with the men trying to get the snake off her arm. Well, I hope they succeeded and the snake didn't do any serious damage. Anaconda and the boy. As in the first topic of the video, these guys also went to try to refresh their day in a river near their house. If they knew that what was supposed to be a cool afternoon would be an afternoon of terror, they wouldn't go out that day. We don't know exactly how it all started, but in the video we see a gigantic anaconda wrapped around a boy's neck, squeezing and squeezing, while the other boy desperately tried to get the snake off his friend, but the snake was too big and possibly too strong, and then the two together fought with the snake. The anaconda's instinct inside the water is to squeeze you and take you to the bottom of the river so you can stop breathing fast, and that's what she was trying to do here. Unfortunately, we don't know how that ended. I hope it didn't end in the worst way. We reinforce, be careful with snakes, do not provoke them or go near them, and do not go to places known as the home of snakes.